Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. How's everyone? Russell, good afternoon. Juicy, let's see how I survived being near a spider last evening. The tarantula did not move the entire time I was there, and I was there for like 4 hours. Happy Wednesday, Indy. Yeah. Yeah, they had a whole huge section on arachnids. But it was weird because it was the only actual spider they had there. They didn't have any other kind of other spiders on display or anything. They were just, like cartoons and things like that. So, but it was fine. It was fine. Can of spider propellant. Yeah, no. No, it was a good time. Some interesting food, and we came home with a lot of corn muffins and not too much chili left. So I guess that's a blessing and a curse, right? So enough for a couple leftovers, but that's about it. So, all right, today, what do we got cooking today? I don't have any other words of wisdom today. I've got a new client repair coming today, which is kind of cute. Did I get to have the mac and cheese? Yes, there was mac and cheese. I did have it. Unfortunately, apparently they didn't realize that they had turned the crock pot off, or it wasn't heating properly or something. So until it was like all half gone, they realized it was not hot. It was not warm. So, and I thought the same thing, but my daughter and her boyfriend came over, and her boyfriend says, well, I'll try the mac and cheese and then I'll put some of this chili on it. And I thought, okay, well, that's interesting. I guess I'll give it a shot. So that kind of warmed it up, but I didn't realize until later it really wasn't that warm. So, kind of a cold mac and cheese is not as good as it could be. So, but I thought Lisa's chili was the best. It was really quite good. So I tried it all. There was desserts, all sorts of things. So, and successful evening for the charities involved. So that's good. They were expecting about 40 people and they had 42, so they were spot on with their estimates. You heard of people mixing the two? Really, I thought he was nuts, but I generally speaking sometimes think my daughter's boyfriend's a little nutty. I like him, but sometimes it's all right. So anyway, trying to think what else is exciting going on here. Getting ready for a couple of big things to launch on Friday during the podcast. No new desk sets. And I think it's a little too late now for my buddy Hans to be shipping me. Yeah, it takes one to know one. Yeah, I guess. A little too late for my buddy Hans to send me any desk sets unless he overnighted them. But and don't do that if you're. I know he's not even here, so. All right, so let's take a look at what we got today. I actually, in addition to these are the ones that we've been working on for a couple of days. We got these touchdowns. We should get to these, and we got a snorkel that's I got the section soaking. We've got to soak this part, so I'm going to actually drop that in ultrasonic right now. I did a fresh batch of water in my ultrasonic, and sometimes what I have is I have a garbage can, and then I have a half a gallon jug that sits in the garbage can, and then my hose runs down into the jug, and sometimes I I undo the drain and let the ultrasonic water go down into the jug, and then I forget to drain the jug. Well, today I just hit the drain, and then all of a sudden I hear this noise, and there's water coming out, and it's flowing over, and so thank goodness I've got it in a garbage can, because it would have been it was a nasty mess. So we got these. I also have a personal pen that I have had kind of in pieces forever. There it is right there. Ebonized Pearl Balance, full size, missing the nib in the feed. And I happen to have this pen, which is lovely, but the cap doesn't quite match the barrel. I don't know if you can see that the shade's not quite the same. I've been hanging on to this for a while. Trying to figure out if I can get like this is a little darker and this is a little more olive. Trying to see if I can find a barrel for this, or it's just not going to happen. It's not happening any day soon. And I think I'm going to just go through some pens of mine that I've been wanting to fix, and I'm going to fix them. So I think this should be a pretty straightforward nib swap. And I might even just swap the section too, because this section's a little bit ambered. So, yeah, I was gonna go with it as it is in the greens. I just didn't like it. I just don't want to sell it that way. And I am quite fond of this pen, and it's in decent shape. I've always liked the Ebonized Pearl, and of course, you know, I got it at the right price because it didn't have a nib. And so hopefully this will be a straightforward swap. We can get that done. But I found it when I was putting away my secretary. I saw this and I thought, oh well. Since we're fixing Brian's pens this week, right? And this pen has been a joy to write with. Let's do one more. So we got that. We're gonna deal with that today. At least start it. And then I've got. I think we'll start off with this one. We'll see how far we can get. Client sent this in. Things do always look better at the right price, don't they? You can overlook a lot if the price is right. I haven't opened this up yet, but I got this far and I stopped. So, client sent this in, and if you're watching, thank you. I won't show this obviously, but I always say typewritten note. I know it's a pain for some people because you got to print it out, but it's just so much better because I have people who write their return address, and you know they'll do it. I have people who will do it in their in their best cursive, and I can't read it. Right, I just can't read it. I'm just trying to fix your pen and get it back to you. So it's typewritten. He followed all the directions to the letter. It was fantastic. So I got the note, but then he did this, which I think is just the most adorable thing ever. He wrapped the pen in bicycle washi tape. I mean, how cute is that? So I want to thank you for doing that. That's really cute. So I haven't even looked at the pen. I got this far and I stopped. I unpacked it and then I got that far. So I don't know. I'm going to put that on my computer here. It's adorable. So we got a Vacumatic, I believe. I couldn't even tell you what color it was. Yeah, okay. So we got black, and it's got some transparency to it. You can kind of see a little bit amber. So we're going to start in on this. Let's take a look at what we got here. Hello, Santoshi. How are you? The only washi tape you would use, Ronald? Yeah. It's pretty sweet. All right, so let's take a look at the condition here. We got a black junior, it looks like. No blue diamond on the clip since it's a junior, so this actually will be safe to throw in the ultrasonic. You don't have to worry about the blue diamond coming off. We've got close to a medium nib. 1946 fourth quarter date code. Oh, well, the nib just unscrews. That's that's a bonus, right? I like it when that happens. I had that happen to me yesterday. Had a client came in and he wanted to restore his oversized Vacumatic, and he couldn't get the filling unit out, but he already had the section off. So after about 30 seconds, I had the filling unit off. Say, hey, why don't we just finish this? File that little tidbit of info on the blue diamond. Yeah. You won't see them on the juniors. I just like that I don't have to fight with. The only possibility I got to fight with is this filling unit. That's a pretty clean looking pen, so. All right, good. Well, that's good. That came out nice and easy. There's the whole diaphragm. So what was for dessert last night? There were a couple of different kinds of brownies. Some Rice Krispie bars. I think there were some cookies. There was some pumpkin pie and some other like rhubarb pie and things like that. I ended up going home. I actually forgot about it until just you mentioned it now. I guess we did go home with a couple pieces of pumpkin pie. And apparently most of the cookies and the Rice Krispie treats and stuff ended up coming back to the office. So Lisa brought some over. And she stopped in for lunch, so. Well, this is good. This so far this is really pretty straightforward. It's really pretty clean, but we're just going to dump this all in here. We got fresh water. This can go in there too. And then we'll address the filler. Okay, I've got a little bit sticking out there. I think I'm going to heat it up. Maybe I can pull it out. If I heat up this a little bit, maybe it'll, if I pull this, I can pull the whole thing out, which would be really super ideal. Just like that. Just like that. So, file that one away. May not always work, but that really will make your life a whole lot easier. It's going to make this job a whole lot easier. I also acknowledge that I could have been very, very lucky. So it was kind of funny last night. We before yesterday's stream, I had gone and dropped Lisa off so she could start getting things set up. And I got my bearings. I figured out where this place was. I'd never been there before. And you know, a couple hours later, I go back and the local high school football team is having a football game there. And it's literally right behind, off to the side of the football stadium. So there's all sorts of action going on. There's cars, there's people walking, there's kids on bicycles and little motorbikes. And it was not the peaceful transition I had seen just 3 hours before. And there must have been a number of games because I can't imagine. Because the games were still going on when we left, which was, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock maybe, 7 o'clock. So 3 hours later, I mean, I can't imagine a high school. And it couldn't have been a high school game because it was Tuesday night, right? So. But it was kind of funny because I pulled in, I'm like, holy smokes. Thankfully, there was a parking spot. Somebody had just pulled out in front of this building, and there was a parking spot there. Good afternoon, Hans. Yeah, the cold mac and cheese. I was pretty excited to see it, but the chili was better. And no spiders were lost in the during the evening. All right. Are you just tuning in, Hans? Did you see I decided to fix another one of my pens? That's like 3 this month. That's like a more of my own personal pens I've fixed in than the last 3 years combined. You looked back a bit. Sometimes you need to do one for yourself. Yeah, yeah. Kind of keeps you motivated every once in a while, you know? You're working on everybody else's stuff. I'm also trying to find ways to not get so far ahead of where my daughter is in terms of photography and shooting things, so... but I've had that pen for a while, and I'd love to see it completed. I mean, it's a little bit newer than my normal era that I enjoy collecting, but I do like balances. There's just something special about them. And the way this repair is going, it's we're going to get to it right quick. You could send Japanese eyedroppers and Pilot Supers you want to get behind. Yeah, it will be nice to use that balance. No, I got some Pilot Supers that I don't want to repair. I'd love to someday have a Pilot Super that way, 500 that wasn't a complete disaster, but I may have to stay satisfied with the non-working versions that I have in my parts bins. That is maybe one of the nicest filling units I've seen in a long time. Look how easy that is. I'm ready to go, and my parts are still in the ultrasonic here. Let's see what we got. All right, the cap's got apparently some ink in it, so you have a complete disaster if I want to change my mind. Maybe after I get the Sheaffer vac fillers down. Which I'm not sure when that's going to be. I'm looking over at my lathe thinking I need to get the new belts on. Well, that's a pretty nice... It's okay amber transparency. kind of see through it. Not as good as it's going to get. Where is turn this light on here. Hans, should we all be singing today? I would be happy to lead the chatters into a three-part chorus. Well, I know it was yesterday, but I didn't realize it until very, very late. If I'd have known, I'd have sent you a desk set. Thank you for offering. And for those you don't know, someone had a birthday yesterday. I'm pretty sure that Lisa could get behind Desk Set Emporium Wisconsin division unleashing a few pieces. I used to have one many years ago. It's kind of one of those goofy things that I wish I had kept. It was a squirrel. So, I don't know. I forget what else was there. There was a big squirrel. Your brother may help you pick one or two out to send my way. Oh, this is going to get ugly. I got one with a bowling pin. But I think that one has a clock on it. I can't send the one with the clock. Although that may be my opportunity to get rid of some of those inexpensive, no-name lever fill gold-plated pens. Do I have many Sheaffer Imperial desk pens? Just, I have one that I know you've seen that is really quite special. That I don't want to get rid of. It's all gold fill, and I have a gold fill trumpet for it, and it's really just awesome. But it needs the right base. I'm not sure what the right base would be. And probably not something boring like just black, but that's probably what it had. Black marble. I got to get rid of some of this other stuff. Boy, that's nice. That's pretty nice. And at least you can still see it. Your favorite base that is like a lacquer, that lacquer base that looks like it's on fire? Yeah, that's an awesome base. I don't know if that would... That probably wouldn't look good, though. I mean, it almost needs a black base. Your grandmother would go for the bowling pin one if she were still with us. Yeah. Is it possible to overdo the diaphragm loop? No, not really. Just run it around just those two spots, which, you know, because it's kind of, you know, the two high spots, so that when you rotate it, it just moves. It's water soluble, so it'll just, you know. Yeah, go check the bird, man. All right, well, that kind of went together. Yours is on the tour of Britain. Nice, nice, that looks nice. Guess there's a snorkel. As I'm pulling things out of my water here. Fuego's doing a Christmas ornament that looks like one of their ink bottles. Interesting. I stopped doing Christmas trees right about the time the kids stopped caring about having a Christmas tree. So and then we had cats always. And everybody knows how much cats love Christmas trees. Although my favorite one year, we had right after Lisa moved up from Florida, we had a Christmas tree, and side here. And of course, there were a couple of pens that I wanted, so I just ordered them off of eBay or whatever, and Lisa wrapped them and hung them in the tree. I got a picture of it, but there were like 2 or 3 pens that were wrapped in it, hanging from the tree. That was kind of fun. I believe one of them if I'm not mistaken, was a red hard rubber Edison. And not the Milan, Ohio Edison, but the St. Petersburg, Virginia Edison, which really made some fantastic pens. Um, you can go a long time and not see a Edison pen. They were kind of a solid. I guess the best way to describe them, maybe a high tier 2, low tier 1 manufacturer. Kind of similar to Eclipse, but they made pens in mottled hard rubber, red hard rubber. They did overlays. They weren't the best overlays, but they did make overlays. Your mom said your first Christmas tree was a tabletop silver foil type. You lived 2 winter seasons in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, I know those. Well, this may be the world's fastest vacuumatic repair. Nib and feed have same date code, so that's good. But yeah, I picked out a couple pens for Christmas, bought them off of eBay, then they came in and Lisa wrapped them, and I mean, there was no question what they were because they were little spherical wrapped pens hanging from the tree. Yep. Yeah, so that writes kind of a fine nib, but it's got some spring to it. I wouldn't call it flex, but it'll give you a little bit of some variation just in normal writing, depending on how much pressure you use. Would be fun to have a Christmas tree again, but there is just no way. There is no way. I would have to lock the cap. I'd have to put it in like a acrylic box so you could see it but not touch it. My cats would most certainly be all over that. Couple that your parents worked for had property right in Cocoa Beach. Just imagine what that'll land's worth today. Yeah. Yeah, it's more than 350. We could put a Christmas tree up at the office. That's a fantastic idea, Hans. Oh, why I didn't think of that. The question is where the heck am I going to put it? Maybe I get a little tabletop one or something. Tell you what, I will miss is we had a no, don't ship me your tree. What I do miss is we had if any of y'all were close to our Wisconsin store in the winter months for the last few years, we had a like a 5 foot tall, maybe it was a 6 foot tall, about 5 foot tall Santa Claus, blow up Santa Claus, and we would put it in the store, and it was kind of cute. Um, but when it came down to it, I had no room, and I think it went. I think it went in the trash. I hate to admit that, but oops. Um, Nobody wanted it, and I wasn't going to store it. Good afternoon, Jason. How are you? Now, we really shouldn't be talking about Christmas because it is not that close, but I don't know how I got on that topic. Well, let us not rush fall. This is the first day that I've worn a sweater for more than an hour since like March. It's been Christmas at the home improvement store since August. Oh, yeah. Around here, they really push. They push Halloween quite a bit. You know, with the 8 foot tall skeletons and all that jazz. All right. Well, that turned out all right. Quick, easy. A little bit of a kind of a stiff nib, but it's got a little spring in it if you want to push it a little bit. All right. All right. Well, if my thinking is correct, I have two white dot full size balances here. They are same size. So white dot would mean lifetime nib. I've got a lifetime nib on this one, which is kind of a fine nib. That was easy. Let's see if this comes out. So if I'm lucky, I can just swap these out. Although I'd rather have a medium nib. Hang on just a second. It's probably the best option I've got. Suppose we should just check for a something special nib. No, I just don't want an extra fine nib. That's not going to fit though. There's so many different sizes. That looks narrower. Well, to say I got a matching pencil, but it's not quite the same clip. So another touch. That's probably my best bet. Yeah, the green stripe's nice. It's just not the. It's not. I can't get past the fact that the cap is a different shade than the barrel, and just slightly enough, such that I won't sell it. It's just too. It's too much. It's too off. It's not close enough. I just hope the section comes off. Sell it at a discount since it's off. Well, right now it's gonna fix my pen. So I'd rather fix my pen. But if I was gonna sell it for a discount, then I would just keep it until I find something that matches better. I don't have to make two pens. I just need to make one. So I either get another cap or another barrel that matches. And then I can sell it for full price. So maybe this is why the nib and feed were out, because somebody couldn't get the section off and they managed to pull out the nib and feed somehow. This would really stink if I've had this pen without a nib, and the reason I have it without a nib is because you can't get the section on. And I don't have a feed in there, so I don't want to press too hard on it. You can't use section pliers. I could put a feed in there maybe. Wow. Well, I guess we're gonna let it soak. It was a lot of heat. Funny thing is, I had a similar pen earlier in the year. You disassembled and cleaned 4 P51s today. Good for you. I had a similar pen earlier this year that I restored and sold. Actually, I think it went on probably sold it on launch day or really close to it, middle of August. I could have kept it if I didn't know this thing wasn't going to come apart. What would be the price range for the pen? What's that? The abalone or the green one? I don't know. Guess on this one, restored, probably 2.5, maybe. Just a guess. Yeah, 250. Yeah, that's what I thought. I gotta get that section off. All right, well, I was hoping to have some fun, but I guess my fun is over with. I'm back to assembling touchdowns. Yeah, it's abalone chip, Russell. Proof that we had Rodden in the 1930s. All right, so I'll be curious to see how this one works because it was kind of stiff yesterday. It's a serious bargain compared to the Rodden pencil today, yeah. And you get an awesome vintage nib. All right, we're going to keep our fingers crossed on that one. All right, snorkel. Just stop back later with pasta. Have fun with the touchdowns. All right. Have fun with the turkey. Enjoy your family. Yeah, that's a big process to get the abalone out of the shell. It's why if you have a vintage mother of pearl slabbed eyedropper and you're trying to replace slabs, you really got to be careful. You definitely got to wear masks and all that stuff. And the world's smallest cigarette. No idea if that's even the right orientation, but we're gonna start somewhere. Just popping out, Juicy. All right. See you later. You know, I'm going to put that in later. It's easier to deal with this if I don't have that snorkel tube in there. It's always easier if you have one of these that has the crimps in it. Then you can open it up nice and wide and it just kind of squeezes right in, but Come on. There we go. So this little piece here that keeps the spring in place was pushed down a little bit. Probably through our efforts to get the bushing out. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend, if you have Netflix, the Jane Goodall Famous Last Words. It's a real kind of a moving interview. It's something else. If you don't know the story behind it, they did this interview actually back in March, and it was just the interviewer and Jane, under the understanding that it would not be released until after her death. And the cameras were all remote operated. The editors had no access to the sound. And so nobody but the interviewer actually knew what the conversation was. And it's a real neat piece. It's not incredibly long. It's about 55 minutes. But very enjoyable. Particularly if you're a fan of Jane's. You've got 2 custom pens being made this week for you? Lucky you. Yeah, goodness to honest interview. You saw it, Russell? Yeah. No editing and prepared questions given ahead of time. Yeah, yeah. Although, I don't think there was anything asked of her that she couldn't have answered on the spot, but that's a decent and proper interview, I think, to have. Everything ahead of time. And clearly instructed that at the end of the interview, he was to step away and she was given all the time she needed for a final statement, which was just really something. I watched it on Monday. Monday was really. It's like when they interview Ken Burns. Yeah, it was a neat. And interesting that it happened in March, right? You know, she didn't know in March she was dying in October. I mean, it could have been 5 years they waited on this. 10 years, you know. Maybe not 10, but and if you haven't seen it, it's a highly recommend you watch it. I will say I'm a little disappointed that companies like Amazon and other online streaming companies that have Jane Goodall movies or movies about her are all charging right now to watch them. I mean, I get it, I guess, but you know, this isn't a mobster or something that just died. I'm not going to pay for Amazon's greediness. All right. Well, should we ink these up and try them? What do we got to lose, huh? All right, let's see. Feather touch number 5. The only paid subscription you have is Netflix. You don't do Amazon Prime or Walmart Plus. Even with genealogy programs I use online, I won't pay for the upscale services. Yeah, I just think it's, I don't know. I mean, we're talking about one of the most influential and significant women figures in history, and they're trying to make a buck off of it. I mean, I guess that's what they do, but it rubs me the wrong way. It just, we should be spreading her positivity, not making people pay for it. Like, you know, in 6 months it'll be free, but they're charging now, you know. I guess we sort of have a, it's a nice nib. Yeah, right, exactly, Russell. If they announced that they were donating some of the proceeds to her cause, that would, you know, and what that would do, that would make me probably rent every single stinking movie that they have about her. I would do that. Um, but I don't think they are. You know, and I'm not going to be, and I don't want to be called a hypocrite or anything. I do use Amazon services. I use Amazon Pay for my website, but I don't have to. I don't have to use that. I mean, I just go and make a donation to her cause, which I'm sure there are. I don't know what specific one it would be, but that might be a better use. You've got the free Netflix offering, and then give your money to one of her chimpanzee studies or something. What frustrates me is I remember watching a movie, one of the many that she made or was filmed in, about her life in Africa, and I can't remember for the life of me which one it was, because I would seek that one out to watch it again, but I just don't remember which one it was. But I also have way too many streaming services. Some of them I get for free because I have, some other subscription that I pay for or whatever. But there we go. Yeah, they say wait long enough, and what you wanted to watch Sunday will be on for free. Yeah. But what they'll probably do is they'll probably just take it off, so you can't watch it. You know. Now it makes me wonder how many other of these famous last words programs have they taped? Because even at what was she, 90 years old? You know, and she could have lived to be, you know, my grandfather lived to be 99. You know, can you imagine? I mean, it'd have been a 10-year-old interview. Would it have been even valid after a couple of years? It may not have been valid. Maybe they would have done it again. Who knows? All right, 2 for 2. Yeah, luck of the draw, right? And who knows? Maybe there's some arrangement that if they do an interview and you're still alive 18 months later, you can do another one. Yeah, that's a decent name. Dolores Gerard. You want to take a guess who she was? Let's see if we get any hits on her. Somebody in New York. Passed away at 22 at age 86. Lived in New York. All right, this one is pretty tight, so we'll see if this actually works. Mm. Well, we'll see. Greg, you switched over from Twitch. Went over to the dark side. Nice nib. Holy smokes. Twitch is linked up with Amazon. Yeah, yeah. Boy, I should see if this nib will fit in that other pen. I don't think this is going to help much, but maybe the selling point here is the nib. Or we got to find a new barrel. It's okay. No, nothing. Yeah, you're a new barrel. You got one for a black tuck-away touchdown? Oh, man, I gotta pick that up. I have a piece that just fell out under my bench. I just think it's too tight. I mean, it's definitely, it's two hands to pull it out. Two hands to push it down, and yeah, it's shrinkage. Yeah. Yeah. You can see the whoops, sorry. Where are we? Yeah, you can see the shrinkage right here. I thought it would be okay. I mean, I've had it sometimes where it's 50-50, you have one, either you do or you don't. Yeah, I'll text you later. I mean, I don't want to bother you. The nib is really super nice. I mean, I would even go so far as to say a complete swap would be all right too, just because, I mean, look how nice that writes. I mean, I want that in that ebonized pearl. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'll shoot you a text later if I remember. If not, I'll remember tomorrow when I look at it. Perfect. We almost had an international incident there. I almost tipped over this entire bottle in my lap. I forget what one this is. This is a special, probably. Would have been too exciting for you? Lisa would have been upset because my I don't like to ruin clothes because of pens. I mean, still got half a bottle left. It's just giving me grief today. All right, let's spin them out. Must depart for the day. All right, have a great evening. Enjoy your dinner. Yeah, some good writers today. Nothing fancy, but they'll do the job. Just reminded me, I didn't clean these caps, so I guess I can. I can clean those too. Nice clear vigilated section on that one. Well, that's not good. The ultrasonic is hot. Let's let that cool down. Leave that in there. But if we're lucky, maybe that means this. I really ought to find a feed to put in here, if nothing else. I want to use a section pliers on an open section. It's never a good idea. Never a good idea. I don't know if that feed's not the right size, apparently. It went in a little bit, so maybe that'll protect me from completely mashing the outside of the section. Nope. Well, let's move on. I did get this wet. I want to. Interesting. When I slowed down, actually, more moisture came out. Quite a cesspool in there. I really need to clean that out. Let's do this snorkel tube here real quick. Throwing things? I don't know about that. I just like to clean off my toothpicks. I know they're stupid cheap, but a toothpick will last you a long time. You almost can buy a container of toothpicks and they will last you years. You find that modern toothpicks break very easily compared to vintage toothpicks? How vintage? I mean, these are probably 5-year-old vintage. It could be even older than that, actually. There's quite a bit excess on here. Used to be a toothpick making factory in Maine that made the majority of the toothpicks sold in the U.S. Boy, you've got all sorts of information, don't you? You're a vault of triviata. Vault of worthless factoids. Maybe this is a toothpick from Maine. I mean, it's incredibly stupid, but if you take care of your toothpicks, you can use them for a long time. I'm a firm believer in buying once. If at all possible. When did they stop making them in Maine? They still make them there? Used to be, you said. So these need a desperate polish, and those caps need to be cleaned. But genealogy and historian since age 12. Half a century of historical knowledge. That's what we're going to call it. If you have the original box that they came in, there's probably an expiration date for the toothpicks. Really? I never looked at a toothpick that closely before. I just know I almost always have a couple of them. There's 3 of them sitting on my bench. And they break occasionally, but what's my water doing? If the use by date is in Roman numerals, don't put them in your mouth. Within the past 10 years. Okay. I don't know. I probably got these they're probably older than that. You know what I'm gonna do? Let's see if we can just use this water. It's my ultrasonic water is actually quite warm. Oh, why I like these plastic liners. It was clearly not done. You worked at one place that used paper doilies, and there was actually an expiration date on the box. Now, call me dull, but what is the? Why would there be an expiration date on a toothpick? What am I not thinking of? Do they absorb moisture and they get soft and then they're no longer viable or no clue? Historian for 50 years, and you know that fact. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Maybe yeah, it could be a sales gimmick. Yeah. When you were in the army, you got to see rations at a date dated before you were born. That's something. So it was at least close to 20 years old at that point, huh? That goes for that guy, doesn't it? May have to put these in the ultrasonic tomorrow. Just for a little added extra benefit. We'll spin them out and then this one seems pretty clean. I bet Dolores used her pen though. Green. Green and a red pen. All right, I'm going to step out for just a second. I've actually got a little bit of liquid in the bottom of this thing, so I want to drain it out real quick. Probably should do that more often than I do, but such is life. Just don't want any moisture in there whatsoever. You see that spider scamper across the screen while Ryan was away? I really hope you're kidding. I'll have to watch the replay to find out. Yeah, no thanks. I'm not watching the replay. I'm headed out of here in about 45 minutes, so when I'm done, he can have the place to himself. All right, so those are going to be good to go. These three at least. That'll be good to go tomorrow. We'll seal it up. Should be good. We should talk with Lisa about getting a fake spider web and have her put it on Brian's workbench for Halloween. All right. Let's pick some more pens, huh? Maybe we should do these walls. Just for something different. Assuming we can get the stinking things open. Two jade walls there. Parts pen. The green ones, yeah, they're nice looking, aren't they? Those two are pretty ugly. Are those brass that's a gold fill cap. Oh, let's see. Oh, the senior duopol's got a cracked nib, as I recall. Yeah, it sure does. Holy, it's all the way up into the E in Parker. So yeah, that's a no. This was not the best group of pens I ever bought. That's for sure. Some of the pencils are nice. Just looking for one more. It's going to be one of these two guys. This one's earlier. T. Warren Meyerand. Oh, we got a cracked feed. Jeez. That one will probably work. Let's do that one, huh? So this, let's see. I'm going to combine some of these trays here. Put those away. Freeze up that tray. That one came apart. This one I'm sure won't. All right, well, we'll start these. See what we can get open. These walls probably have a sleeve inside the barrel, so they're going to be a pain to get open. Although the one has a replacement nib, so my hope is that if it came open once, it's going to come open twice. What is the dark area on the cap of the second green one? This here? Or are you talking about this here? If you're talking about that, that's discoloration of the celluloid. Which is the same, that happens. Oh, the gold at the top. Yeah, so that's just a hard rubber underneath. Just to add contrast so you can see the little crown there. This one has it too. Oops. Admittedly, my wall knowledge is lacking, so Well, that was nice. Is there a sleeve in there? No sleeve. Good. So Walt often used a little metal sleeve that they put in there, and over time it corrodes. And it makes it very difficult to get the section out. Woo! But neither of these have that, so we're very happy today. This one's got the feet all wackadoodle. So it's going to have to come completely apart, but I got to get it apart first. All right, let's see if this guy comes open. I like these green with silver trim. All right. Really thick sack on these. Holy cow. That one peeled off like old leather. That's always nice. So this one we gotta be careful with. The breather tube. Nice and long. Quite the pile of mess here, huh? Should see what the bottom of my garbage can looks like. Every once in a while, I got to go digging in there for something I dropped in there. And it's shocking how many bad sacks there are. There's no breather. So we're going to have to find one on that skyline. Nice thing about doing different kinds and different models is if you can just throw kind of everything into the ultrasonic at the same time, and you don't have to worry about trying to remember what goes with what, because there's only one of each. So we'll just do a little preliminary cleaning here, and then we're going to call it a day. Thankfully, all the sacks came out, so we'll soak those caps tomorrow. Watch out for spiders, yeah. Okay. How many weeks do we think this is going to soak before it does or doesn't give up? Well, this will be fun to have a couple of walls anyway. Discoloration is not too bad. but it's quite dirty. And this is just around the opening. That one we can knock out. Just because we're gonna have to reset that feed anyway, it's offset. I don't know what happened. The nib pulled out. Yep. Guess we don't need the knockout block. All right, we will look a little closer at these tomorrow, but that's a good preliminary flush. Four walls and a Sheaffer walked into a bar. All right. I think that's where we're gonna end it today. We'll deal with the caps on those tomorrow. And maybe we'll I'll see how dirty the water is already. We'll give them another flush on the nibs. We got to clean this out. That's pretty clogged up. And we should have some sacks on these by tomorrow, which is good. This guy will seal up tomorrow. These guys will be, you won't see these three tomorrow. This guy, we're just going to have to wait and see if we can get, yeah, thanks, Jason. I appreciate you coming in. We'll see if we can get another barrel for this. I just don't like that. I don't think it's a very good, even at a discounted price, it's not a good user experience. So we're going to leave that Ebonite's Pearl sitting in the, we're going to let it soak. We're just going to let it soak for a few weeks and we'll see what happens. It's just it's too hard. I mean, even with heat and pliers, it's not coming loose. So maybe it just needs to soak and let the water get in there. There is a tiny little bit of a gap. So my hope is that water will kind of seep in there and it will make its way in there. And it may take a while. So I mean, we did get that one pen open that had the white feed, and that took, how long did that take? I mean, I started that pen before I moved here and we finished it here, I think. Maybe not, but I mean, it was at least 3 weeks. So this is my pen, so it's certainly sat unfixed without a nib for far longer than it's going to sit in the water. So, but we'll look at it from time to time and see what happens. And I guess I'm running out of pens from this this collection that I bought. I'm getting down to a bunch of pencils, and I think maybe I need to. I hate to say it, but I probably need to assess which pencils are ready to go and good to be polished and photographed and out of here, and that will make it seem like there's some progress. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We'll see. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Thursday. So tomorrow's the end of the week as far as repair streams are concerned. Oh, I got this guy too. I got a pilot here to test. Maybe we can test that tomorrow. I got a couple other pens over here. We'll find something to do. There's always something to do here. But I like the pencil idea. I like the pencil idea for the end of the week. Just to get it out of here and be done. Maybe I'll polish some pens too. That's an awful thought, isn't it? Anyway, thanks so much for joining. Have a good evening, a good afternoon, a good morning, wherever you are. Watch out for spiders. Be kind, be well, and we'll catch you tomorrow, all right? Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.